Tuesday, the 2nd of September 2025, Vusimuzi Matlala appeared at Alexander Magistrate Court for his formal bail application. Inside court, Matlala denied any role in 2020-23 attempted hit on his former girlfriend, actress Deborah Tobejani. But instead of deciding on bail, the court postponed the hearing on Monday, the 8th of September 2025. Prosecutors from the NPA made it very clear they will oppose bail. They also cited that Matlala's links to underworld networks and concerns about the flight risk because Matlala allegedly he went to Eswatini and on his return he did not return using the same passport. They could not see him and re-enter South Africa again. He also has a birth certificate from that country, Eswatini. Allegedly, this one was fraudulently acquired according to the NPA, the claim they made. Beyond this one case, actually, the story about this man, Vusimuzi Matlala, is really much bigger. The NPA, which is the National Prosecuting Authority, confirmed that Matlala actually has about other cases, 7 related dockets, 2 from Orlando, 2 from Sandton, 2 from Pretoria, and 1 from Vereeniging. They will all be centralized into a single process. The date for that consolidated case is the 7th of October 2025. The political storm hasn't cooled either. On the 6th of July, the very day that KZN Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi dropped his bombshell about political interference, Brown Mogotsi, I may have mentioned Brown Mogotsi. He's actually known as an ANC operative. He's got a foundation. Like I said, be worried about this foundation and this NGO. They have covert role they play in this community. So anyway, he's got that. And, we know that Senzo Mchunu referred to him as his comrade. He called Matlala while Matlala was in prison, the Brown Mogotsi. Brown Mogotsi is connected to Senzo Mchunu, connected to Matlala, and we were told on the 6th of July about this by none other General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, that the Minister of Police is linked to criminal world, allegedly Vusimuzi Matlala, through a WhatsApp exchange. That WhatsApp exchange, how did they find out about this WhatsApp exchange? It's because they went to arrest him, allegedly linked to this case where he tried to unalive his ex-girlfriend, actress Deborah Tobejani. In there, they got his phone and they examined the phone and they found all of this communication between Brown Mogotsi and the Brown Mogotsi, Senzo Mchunu, the Minister of Police, and this person called Vusimuzi Matlala. All right, and they were discussing policing. The 3 of them were discussing policing. Just imagine. Brown Mogotsi is not a police officer. He doesn't have any security clearance. Why would Senzo Mchunu have anything to do with Brown Mogotsi? That's what I say, that this Mchunu should have actually been fired, not been put on leave. So anyway, this communication really, now that it's being revealed that Brown Mogotsi attempted to contact Matlala 10 times. He had 10 missed calls from him while in prison. And apparently, he also was able to listen to Mtlantla Mkhwana's press conference via this phone. This phone, screenshot of this phone was showing him listening in prison using his phone when he's not allowed to have any mobile phone in prison. So this one, it raised questions about how he even had a cell phone, how he even had a cell phone, and how this person Brown Mogotsi knew that he could contact this man Vusimuzi Matlala while in prison using this number, this phone number. Yeah. So Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi alleged that WhatsApp chat tying both Mogotsi to Police Minister Senzo Mchunu, who was later also placed on leave while President Ramaphosa announced this Matlala Commission that has failed to launch. Now, I told you that the failure to launch is intentional, it's strategy. That's why they're so upset that, the National Police Commissioner decided to do their job and allow the police to actually look into these cases. They upset that the dockets that were removed from KZN that were investigating political killings in KZN were removed from General Sibiya's, which is the in Pretoria, and now they're now being sent back to where they belong in KZN for the police to continue their job in investigating these cases, because the original dockets were taken away, but the actually copies of them, they're still in Pretoria. So now they are upset about that. That how come, why are they investigating murders of people, civil society, that are linked to politicians, linked to tenders? A lot of them are linked to tenders. They're upset about that. They're panicking. I call this is a panic button. And I see that they're using all the media to try and paint this as chaotic and as wrong, as interfering. Honestly, do you think the police are interfering? Police are doing their job. People who are interfering is Ramaphosa, who actually doesn't know his job. Ramaphosa doesn't know his job as a president. They don't know what they're doing. Even with this new minister that he brought to try to be another Senzo Mchunu, to try and protect him from going to prison. That's what they're doing, because we were told by a police spokesperson that these 121 political linked dockets, of those 121 linked police dockets, they include 107 murder cases. That means it's over 88% are murder cases that were all controversially removed from KZN's political killings task team and taken to Saab's crime detectives by Sibiya. He lied and said he was authorized by the police commissioner. But the police commissioner has said no, he did not authorize him from taking these dockets from KZN. They belong to KZN. Why would a police commissioner close an investigation that is open? So you see, it's an obviously cover up. The KZN, they're the most competent police officer in South Africa. They were very close to finding out the the issue here. They're very close to finding out the problem. They're linked. Because they were so close to Ramaphosa's doorstep, they had to stop it. They had to pull this docket. They had to end the political task team. They had to take the dockets away. So obviously the team is looking at these dockets to see whether these dockets have been messed around, have been tampered with, anything have been removed from them, which is probably, but yeah, this is the big issue here. But under pressure, the National Commissioner Fani Musimulu has ordered them returned to KZN so that the men and women in blue can continue investigations even without a special task team. I saw the interview today where the national spokesperson was talking to Newsroom Africa, and she was very clear. And her name is actually Atlenda Mate. Atlenda Mate. She said, you know what, the police are going to continue doing their job, what the police do.
Successful. The National Commissioner utilized the opportunity to appraise the minister on where we are in terms of the dockets and where the dockets are. He did confirm that the dockets are in KwaZulu-Natal. They are back with the political killings task team, and the work has begun to start off where the investigators left their investigations in March. When you look at the dockets, at the 121 dockets, 107 of the dockets are murder related of councillors and traditional leaders. Two pointing of a firearm, another 4 attempted murder, 2 conspiracy to commit murder. So those are quite serious crimes that have been committed. And it would have been an injustice for the National Commissioner to allow those dockets to gather dust, because that would mean that, justice would be delayed for the families.
Okay.
So our main goal was to, put the families at ease, to say, let us continue where we left off. But most importantly, what the National Commissioner indicated as early as last week is that all the dockets, the investigators have made sure that there are copies that are made so that the originals are then taken back to the investigators and the work continues.
All right. So what you're telling us is that the commission is going to work with copies of these 121 dockets.
Well, the commission will indicate what they require for the commission to continue. So there are still those consultations and so on. But as of now, the copies are in Pretoria, and the original dockets, they're in KZN to allow the investigators to continue with investigations.
The integrity of these dockets, do we know what that looks like right now? Because that appears to be the worry of the president.
From the onset, when I think the dockets arrived, they were inspected at the head office, they were analyzed and so on. And that same process was followed when the dockets were being sent back, because the main goal, like I've indicated, for the National Commissioner was that let's not delay justice. There are families that are waiting to hear what will happen to the suspects or that are still at large, that are largely responsible for the murders of their relatives and family members and so on. And when you look at those that have been killed in each of these dockets, you look at some of the cases, it's traditional leaders, some of them it's party members. Some of them it was councillors and so on. So our main goal really is to get justice for the victims and to get closure, the necessary closure to the families. And it's quite encouraging that the minister and the National Commissioner, they found each other, they've agreed that the work must continue,
right,
and that other conversations or obviously centered on strengthening capacity of the SAPS as a whole to prevent and combat especially serious and violent crime in the country.
So it means then what you are saying is that the statement of the acting Minister of Police is wrong when he says the political task team dockets will be submitted to the commission in the format that they require.
It was a joint statement. We all take responsibility of the statement. Maybe it's a misinterpretation on your side. Nothing has changed. Like I've indicated, the originals are in KZN. It's only the copies that are in Pretoria. Consultations are continuing with those particular dockets. But safe to say that the same dockets, the copies, are in Pretoria, they are safeguarded, and as and when they are needed, they will then be presented to the commissioner.
All right,
To the commission, rather.
Very quickly then, this goes without saying then that the political killings task team is alive and well. And who is leading it then, if that's the case?
Look, the political killings task team's work continues. If I can say, the men and women in blue. Let's not put task teams to it. The work of the men and women in blue continue. When you look at the work of the task team, since inception, they've worked on about 333 dockets. 129 accused have already been convicted for various crimes that they've committed. A recent one is the Senzo Mchunu murder, in which the hitman was convicted to 25 years imprisonment. We also had the conviction of an engineer who was attached to the Alfred Nzo municipality in KZN, whose perpetrators were
Colonel
also
Mate?
convicted and sentenced to life.
I am sorry to interrupt you. I need to ask a very straightforward question. Who leads the political killings task team right now?
So, what is your problem, mate? Why you all so hype up? We're continuing doing what we always do. We report to the same person, which is where we always report, the National Police Commissioner. Even without anyone leading them, we report to National Police Commissioner. This is our structure. This is how things work. So you can see how even the media, Ramaphosa has got the media to talk about how bad why the police are doing this thing is bad. But you know what? It's not bad, because we know this team is being so successful with the number over 300 of these cases. There were over 300 of them. A lot of these people are already in jail, some of them 25 years in jail. And it's the closure that these family need. But there are also 121 of them. Of those, 107 are murders that the family are still waiting for them to be solved, including Babita Deokaran. So here's the big picture. A high profile bail application now is set for Monday, the 8th of September. A centralized case returned on the 7th of October. A scandal linking Matlala to political figures through Mogotsi and Mchunu, and the fate of 121 dockets hanging in the balance. The question remains, will these cases finally expose South Africa's underworld political nexus? Or will justice once again be undermined from the top? Remember, 2 September, it was yesterday, he appeared. Next week, Monday, another bail hearing. And I think this one is going to be rejected. I don't think he will be offered any bail with these cases that he's linked to, unless it's true that the judiciary is also captured by underworld. Because not only is police that was alleged that are captured by criminal syndicates, it was also alleged that this judiciary is also captured. We know that the judiciary is captured because Matlala Commission had failed to launch, and I told you now, it failed to launch because, everybody knew they worked together. This is how the mafia state work. It failed to launch intentionally. So now they're panicking because it failed to launch and the dockets have been moved. And they're a bit, oh my God, what are we going to do? The dockets have been returned and Vusimuzi Matlala hasn't been granted bail. Oh no, what are we gonna do? They are scrambling right now. They are scrambling to try and cover up because there's a lot of them implicated, including Afiforum as well. Afiforum is another, uh, um, civil society. Call themselves civil society. They are linked to these white African refugees and also linked to DA and the VF Plus. They're also being linked into in KZN. They are linked into interfering with police there, the Afiforum in KZN. So there's a lot of people are going to be exposed with this, including the all politicians, not just the ANC, like I said. I don't see ANC alone here. I see also the DA, VF Plus, through VF, their proxy. The VF Plus and DA, their proxy is actually Afiforum. So anything AfriForum does is the proxy for DA. So they use them as their proxy for a lot of stuff. So watch this space. But I am so happy that these dockets are in KZN because so far KZN is the most competent police force in South Africa. They've been able to even help the Johannesburg crack this issue around Vusimuzi Matlala. And out of these things that Matlala is linked to, the only charge is that at this stage that he is charged of, that he remains in custody for, is the attempted murder of his former ex-girlfriend. But he's also linked, like I said, to Babita Deokaran. He's also linked to other murderers, okay, that are linked to tenderpreneur to contract. Civil societies are being unalived just for pointing out the corruption. Babita Deokaran said no, she's not going to authorize any payment of a fraudulent company, proxy company, and she was unalive because she said no to it. She put her foot down and she was trying to protect the public resources. This was linked to public health care, the hospital, the Tembisa hospital. That's why there are no medicines. When Ramaphosa say why there are no medicine in hospital, oh, the answer is very simple. Vusimuzi Matlala is the reason. Thank you guys for listening.